New details have come to light surrounding the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
A girl whose body was found in the trunk of a car registered to the singer David.
Here is a story that I'll bet you haven't forgotten.
This may not be a homicide. It could be an overdose. That was a party house.
This case is absolutely insane. Latest news is David has not been named as a suspect in Celeste Rivas' death. And I have been following this case since her body was found in his Tesla, and it is absolutely insane. Musical artist David Anthony Burke, aka David, has been in some very hot water recently over something deeply disturbing. A body was found in the trunk of a car registered to him. A girl named Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The investigation is still ongoing, and as details are unraveling, things are getting more and more strange and unsettling. Just a couple of days ago, David's former bodyguard said something pretty chilling on a live stream. On September 8th, 2025, workers at a Hollywood impound lot noticed a horrible smell coming from a Tesla that had been sitting there for a while. Police were contacted, and when they opened the front trunk, there was a body inside wrapped in plastic. That car was registered to singer David Anthony Burke. I honestly didn't know who he was until I saw this, case going viral on social media. At first, nobody knew what the heck was going on. Who was the person in the trunk? Why were they in David's car? Did he have something to do with this? When this happened, people were really surprised. They're like, really him? Because he didn't really have any controversy before all of this. Apparently, he started his music career by making music for Fortnite videos. A few days later, though, things got worse. The remains were identified as 14-year-old Celeste, who had been missing since April of the previous year. Now, David was in the middle of a tour when her body was found. So people were like, okay, well, clearly he couldn't be responsible, right? Because he was on tour. Well, the condition of her body made it hard for the coroner to figure out exactly how she passed away. But investigators believe that she had been deceased for weeks before that she was found. The LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division took over the case, and not long after, police served a search warrant on a Hollywood Hills house where David had been staying. They seized computers and other evidence, though nothing specific had been released yet. After the discovery, David canceled the rest of his US tour dates, and brands and collaborators quickly started cutting ties. At this point, though, no one has been charged. And it was just announced that he is not a suspect, even though it was his car. But the investigation is still very creepy and active. Like I said, the medical examiner still hasn't figured out the cause of death. Until they do, police can't officially say whether someone, unalived her or if it was an accident. They still really don't know. But I mean, how would she end up in the front trunk if it wasn't something malicious? Because people were like, oh, maybe she took her own life in his car. But babe, you're not gonna wrap yourself up like that. No. The exact wording they used was, and I quote, "It is unclear whether there is any criminal capability beyond the concealment of her body." So basically what they're saying is hiding her body is obviously a crime, but they don't know if that person that concealed the body was directly involved in taking her life. Now, David's gone pretty much silent on social media. There's no new posts for him. He hasn't made any statements regarding the case. Again, at the time of this recording, it could change in a couple of days. But we do know that he hired a pretty well-known defense attorney, Blair Burke. And some of his clients were CeeLo Green, Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, and Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, but we don't talk about that, or him. Okay, so now let's talk about a little bit more about David and also his relationship to Celeste, because it's a creepy one. David is a singer from Houston who blew up on TikTok in 2022. He originally started making his own music to play in his Fortnite playthrough so that he wouldn't get copyright strikes. His breakout hit was Romantic Homicide, which went viral and landed him a record deal, which Romantic Homicide, we'll touch on that later, because some people were saying that he was writing songs about Celeste. Another track, Here With Me, also took off and made him one of the fastest rising new artists of the past few years. By 2025, he dropped his debut album, Withered, and was touring around the world. Something that blindsided a lot of David's fans is his style of music. He's known for being pretty emotional, often touching on heartbreak and loss in his music. But as we'll touch on, some of the lyrics in his songs are really suspicious considering what has happened in this case. Again, a lot of people are like, ooh, he's singing about what happened. Now let's talk about Celeste. So Celeste was a teenage girl from California. She was first reported missing on April 5th of 2024 when she was about 13. Over the course of the year, there were multiple missing person reports involving her, and sometimes she returned home only to disappear again. In descriptions from law enforcement, Celeste was about 5'2" with wavy black hair. At the time she went missing, she had a shush tattoo on her right index finger. What's creepy is David has the exact same tattoo. They have matching tattoos. Now, there's not a lot that people know about her public life. One of her teachers actually came forward and spoke about it and said that, you know, she had run away multiple times in the past, and also she told this teacher that she had met someone online. There's a lot of speculation, as you might know, that David and Celeste had an intimate relationship, which, given the age difference, would be illegal, right? We don't have 100% confirmation though. This is all like alleged, everything that I have read online about their relationship. But the fact that they have a matching tattoo is a big one. And then other people say maybe she had the tattoo because she was just a fan of him and then wanted to get a matching tattoo, you know, because she's a fan. So yeah, so Celeste is 14, David is 20, she would have been 11 when they met. Keep that in mind. Here's another thing. After the story broke, an unreleased track mentioning the name Celeste surfaced. In some of the leaked lyrics, David sings lines like, "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed, and smell her on my clothes like cigarettes." And like I said, the song Romantic Homicide, that's being brought up a lot too. Some lines talk about love that kills. So, yeah. And I touched on this a bit before, but when police carried out the search warrant at his house, they removed computers and electronics. They were looking for possible clues about any connection between the two of them. Rumor has it that they broke up in December of 2024. Other reports claim that Celeste was allegedly intoxicated and spam calling him, and after that, David wiped his Instagram posts involving her. Also, Celeste's mother told police that, yes, her daughter was dating someone named David. So what are the odds? Let's say she wasn't dating, you know, the famous David and it was just some random guy with the same name. Dude, that's crazy. Other people have said that the mom knew that it was an illegal relationship and she was paid thousands of dollars, again, allegedly, to kind of be like, oop, and let them be together. And now let's talk about the live stream, okay? This clip has been getting talked about a lot. People dug up his deleted live stream where David was on camera with Celeste. And the way that this stream ends is pretty alarming.
He trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
David says to Celeste, "I media trained you. That's controversial." And then Celeste responds with, "It's controversial of something something kids." And then the chat goes off and David is very adamant that every bit of his stream, you know, has to be deleted.
Oh my, delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes.
It just looks really bad. And there's confirmation that they are connected. They knew each other. So it wasn't like she was just a creepy fan. Like, no, they were hanging out. Here's some more creepy details from social media that people have found. Man, we got some internet sleuths out here. On social media, some noticed David's subreddit was behaving oddly. Posts about him or about Celeste were removed, and he was the moderator. There were some pretty damning Reddit posts that came to light in the early days of this investigation that people are talking a lot about. There's one from American Strawberry, and it was posted before Celeste's name was released to the public. It reads, "This guy is a weirdo. A close friend's little sister from IE ran away last year, and this is who she was with. We think her sister was pimping her out. She was in 7th grade at the time. LAPD swept his house in the hills. I'm terrified that's who's in the car. Nobody has heard from her in months. I won't release names as she's still a minor, but she was from Lake Elsinore, which is where Celeste was from. She knew exactly who she was talking about. She put 2 and 2 together. This was at the time when they just found the body and they didn't release who the body was of. And so this person went on Reddit and was just like, I think it's going to be Celeste. She was hanging out with David. They ran away together and oop. And then Reddit user Alpha Tango Cheesecake commented, and I quote, "This guy is a From what I've heard, my sister, who is now in 9th grade, told me that he was dating an 8th grader and she would go on trips with him to LA. They're all in 9th grade now, and it turns out C's friends knew and he would pay them to keep their mouth shut. C has been missing for over a month now and no one knows her whereabouts. Definitely something strange going on. And again, this was all posted before her body was identified. And again, allegedly, her friends were paid off and her mom was paid off. All alleged. And now, the latest update. And we got a little plot twist here. David's bodyguard, who goes by MarkynextDoor, jumped on streamer Cuffim's live the other night, clearly intoxicated outside a venue, and this is what happened.
Know the gym about the David case?
Well, how many
Yeah. All right, be honest. Is it your bodyguard for him?
I helped him bury her. It's crazy.
Within minutes, this clip was everywhere. Now, was this just a dark joke? First of all, Celeste wasn't buried. She was found in the trunk of the car, but some people are calling this the first real insider acknowledgement that someone in David's own circle knew what was going on. And not only that, possibly aided in hiding the body. Remember, Celeste's body wasn't found until September 8th, when cops finally opened David's abandoned Tesla. Also, who just abandons a Tesla? You know? But the car had been sitting on a Hollywood street since August 26th, and neighbors were complaining about it for days until it got towed away. So you have this strange, like, gap. It's over a week between the complaint of the car and then the discovery of the body. So Marky's remark has people wondering if he helped move or just, like, helped hide the body. Again, this is what people are thinking. Now we can look at some like theories or rumors. These are all alleged and what I have found when researching online. So one of the rumors was that Celeste was pregnant with his child, and then there was a rumor that they had to get rid of that. So she was not pregnant. At least the coroners reported that she was not. I think that was like the biggest rumor that people were talking about. I remember reading about that, and then the next day it was like, oh, it was fake. But people are just like, well, maybe it was this, maybe it was that. Again, we don't fully know if their relationship was more than just friends. This is all alleged, and what I have read from being online, I just know that like day by day the case is like picking up more attention, and every day things are changing. So by the time I film this, who knows what other changes or like discoveries have been made. And to any of the clues like matching tattoos or David's lyrics prove anything? No. Not on their own. But all of it combined, I can't lie, it is creepy. Also, it's kind of weird that like you would think that David would be the #1 suspect, but he's not even a suspect anymore. It was just his car, but I don't know. Literally, we don't know. And since he hasn't like come out and said anything, we don't know what's going on. Like you would think that if he was dating her, he would know where she was, and if she was missing for that time, like something would have been reported. I don't know, man. But you can let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thoughts and prayers to Celeste's family, because she was so young. Oh, so beautiful, so young, and did not deserve that. And I really hope that justice is served. Let me know in the comments below what other case you want me to talk about and what other content you want to see from me, because it is now spooky season. Anyways, I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan. Thank you so much for sticking along with me. And yeah, I'll see you when I see ya. Bye.